Welcome to the post AEW show here at the Holy Shit Podcast. It's your boy ABE from DET. AEW for June 19th, 2024 is in the books. And let's get to it. In the opener, should I say, I'm ready to just jump to the main event. You know, that's how this show was. I just kind of wanted to fast forward. There's nothing wrong with AEW. I love it. But what WWE has been doing lately, the professionalism we've been getting with the sobriety, everything is kind of hard right now. I want to be honest, watch AEW. And I'm a professional, and I'm here to give the people what they want, the AEW post show. So to start the show off, we had leather jacket, baby face, MJF getting the win over Rush. I say leather jacket, MJF, just because I'm not feeling this whole baby face role. It's like a Triple H knockoff. I just really want him back in the scarf, back in the suits, and back to just being our scumbag. But like I said, he gets the win over Rush, and afterwards, Brian Cage gets on the screen and tells MJF the Elite are not happy with him. So at Forbidden Door, he has been booked against Pinchacero, whoever. I'm sorry. AEW created the Forbidden Door. It should be their thing. How is NXT doing this better? When this Pinchacero guy came out, I was like, who? But when NXT did it the other day and Joe Hendry came out, I'm not even a TNA fan, but I'm aware of what's going on in the world, and I know who Joe Hendry is. Pinchacero, I don't know. I'm sorry. Does that make me not a professional wrestling fan? Okay. But he will be fighting MJF at Forbidden Door. Why? I don't know. This guy, honestly, to me, I mean, if you could just look at this picture. Let me just put this picture up real quick. Look at this. Look how MJF is looking at him. He looked like a villain from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze. And this is who MJF is fighting. Now, at this point, you can't make this shit up. This is happening. This is happening. It's just happening. MJF versus the villain from the Ninja Turtles at Forbidden Door. But next up, we get Renee backstage with Orange Cassidy, Dante Martin, Kyle O'Reilly, and the Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe, who has been on fire on the mic. Completely hilarious. I mean, last week he had me rolling, and this week was no exception. Jack Perry walked by in the middle of the interview, and he said, "Get your ass out of here, Jack Perry." He reminded me of like the Bushwhackers back in the day. Like, I wish his brother was still alive so he could see what Mark is doing. But shout out Mark Briscoe. They were setting up their 8-man tag, giving Renee interview backstage, but that segment was gold, all courtesy to Mark Briscoe. Excuse me. Your boy got a cold. I'm here fighting through some shit. Let me get a sip of my tea. There we go. But next up, we get Swerve Strickland, the World Heavyweight Champion, in the ring, facing off against his opponent at Forbidden Door, Will Ospreay. This match will be nothing less than a 5-star classic. The build-up, on the other hand, I'm not for sure. I mean, you got to just get used to AEW, and this is how they do things. You are going to get C-, maybe even D average shows to lead up to an A+++ pay-per-view. But this segment was gold. They went back and forth. It got a little personal. Swerve brought up his kid because they know each other. They real tight in real life. So Swerve brought up his kid, started bringing up some personal stuff. And one funny thing, Swerve was like, "You're going to have your friends help you win like they helped you win against Kenny Omega." And Will Ospreay turned around and hit him with, "Years ago, while you were having a hit roll, I had a hit list and I killed everybody on it. And now you're on that list." That was a classic line. Shout out Hit Row too. That was a classic line right there. I really wish Hit Row would have Swerve in AEW, the main roster. I think they all could have been big. But we'll talk about that on some WWE shit on a later day. But this match, I don't care how they build it up, how poorly they do it. Y'all know Will Ospreay is the greatest professional wrestler on this planet Earth. Swerve is in the top 10. Together, they're going to make a hell of a match. I mean, I'm just looking forward to the pay-per-view to build up. It's AEW. What can we say? I'm sorry. They're going to get it together. I got faith one day AEW is going to be a juggernaut when it comes to this booking and storytelling. They're going to be able to match WWE and NXT blow for blow. But for right now, they just the king of the pay-per-views, and that's you just got to accept it. But after that, oh, shit. Excuse me. Next, we get Orange Cassidy, Dante Martin, and Mark Briscoe getting the win over Kyle O'Reilly, getting the win over Zack Sabre Jr., Roderick Strong, Takashi, Kyle Fletcher. This was a hell of a 8-man tag match. Mark Briscoe, he gets the win. Like I say, Mark Briscoe is on fire. I just wish the Briscoes was together. R.I.P. his brother. I wish we could still get to both of them, but Mark is on fire right now. This was a solid match. To me, one of those, pay-per-view coming up. You got multiple angles. Let's just throw them all together in an 8-man tag and let them all fight. That's what this was. Quality match, though. Next up, though, we get a video package with Mercedes Moné warning her opponent, Stephanie Vaquer, before their match for the TBS Championship at Forbidden Door. She was doing flips and training, and it looked good, but it didn't sound good. My boy Chuck been telling me about, he been getting on my head about Mercedes and her mic skills, and man, this was a promo that was filmed. You would have thought somebody would have been like, hey, let's this down. But no. Anyway, they hyped it up. Mercedes versus Stephanie, Forbidden Door. Like I say, the pay-per-views is where AEW at. If you're watching this on a weekly basis for entertainment, you may not get it. It's just a slow build for a magnificent pay-per-view, which Forbidden Door will be 100% guaranteed. Next up, we get Don Callis sees an upset Rush backstage from losing to MJF, and he seems to make him an offer in Spanish. So you might be seeing Rush. And for those who don't know, Rush and Dragon Lee in NXT are brothers. So I wish they were together in WWE. Rush is out cold. He had a hell of a match against MJF to open. But Rush, Don Callis family, I'm kind of feeling that. We'll see where that goes. But next up, oh my God, it's like one of the funniest things of the night, hands down. We got the Acclaim coming down to the ring to fight the Young Bucks. And as they are rapping, Okada cuts off the mics. He's acting like he's backstage trying to hit the keys, and it says, oh, I'm sorry. And then hits him with the straight face and says, shut up, bitches. This line is becoming incredible because he don't speak no English, and he's just telling everybody to shut up, bitch. It's just priceless. It's working. Shout out Okada. I never in a million years thought he would be getting over with my skills, not having the best of English, but he has his mic skills tonight. He only said a line or two. It was better than Mercedes. And that shit was taped. That was a filmed promo. But shout out Okada. He getting over like a motherfucker. But the Acclaim, they do get the win over Young Bucks, making them number one contenders. They'll be fighting in the future. I'm not sure if they said it was going to be on Forbidden Door or something else, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be on Forbidden Door. Another banger match to let you know, maybe not the shows aren't good, but the pay-per-view will be absolutely incredible. Next up, we get this new alliance that I am absolutely loving. Samoa Joe and Hook backstage. Them together is like a New York connection that I never knew I needed, but it's absolutely amazing. They went backstage. They were looking for Mark Smart and his crew. They weren't there, but they left a note challenging them, both of them, to a match later on this week in Collision. So we're going to get that later on in the future, but shout out Hook and Joe. I'm telling you, I love this. What they were doing with him, with Chris Jericho, was a travesty. It should have never been done. Point blank, period. But I'm glad he over with it. Moving on with Samoa Joe. They a team, but that match, incredible. It's going to be kind of like Jade and Bianca. You got two powerhouses together being friends, but down the road, things is gonna fall apart, and they going toe to toe. But next up, we get one of the weirdest, like over sexualized, what do you call it? Gimmicks, stories that we got going on right now. We got Toni Storm. I mean, I can't even keep a straight face while I'm actually saying this. We get Toni Storm and Mina Shikara in the ring, signing their contract. And Mariah May is there on the side. As you all know, Mariah May used to be Shirakawa's partner in Japan, but now she's Toni Storm's understudy in AEW. They're fighting over her. They signed the contract, but they both said you have to pick. Or she took Saraya and Harley come down. They're talking all type of shit. And then out of nowhere, Anna Jay comes down to team up with Saraya and Harley. They jump Toni Storm. They jump Mariah May. But then as Saraya is about to set up at the table, Toni reverses it. And Toni goes through the table. Mariah May walks off and leaves Toni there by herself, making you wonder, is she leaving Toni Storm and going back to join up with her own partner? And it also makes you wonder, why was Saraya out here? Why was Harley out here? Why was Anna out here? Who knows? This is AEW. Shit does not make sense on a weekly basis until you get to the pay-per-view. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to explain this shit as best as I can. I'm telling y'all, this is difficult. AEW is not giving us the best product, and maybe they are. Maybe they are giving us the best product, but WWE is just so superior right now. Maybe I'm holding it to a biased standard, but it's just not. It's not it. It's not hit. It's just not. I'm sorry. But after that, we get Chris Statlander defeating Nyla Rose and advance into the Owen Hart Cup tournament second round. But afterwards, Willow gets on the screen and lets her know she's got a match this weekend. And if she wins, there will be no more hiding, and she will have her hands on Chris Statlander for what she did to her and costing her that title against Mercedes. And I am definitely looking forward to this. Willow, she's been on fire. I didn't want her to lose to Mercedes, but I completely understand why she did. She's kind of getting bigger than that belt. And if she wins this tournament, I honestly wouldn't mind her going up against Toni Storm to be the world champion, to be quite honest. So now it completely makes sense to me why Willow lost to Mercedes. They have bigger and better things in mind for Willow, and I'm all for it. Next up, we get man, the myth, the legend, the guy who is my Mount Rushmore. I don't care what anyone says. Chris Jericho is a national treasure. He reinvents himself over and over and over again. So Private Party was backstage with Renee doing an interview. Chris Jericho comes out with that voice that he's using now, trying to teach and educate people, letting them know, don't try to hit me with a power driver, that I'm gonna block it. Just being corny as hell. This shit was funny, classic. What they're doing right now with Chris Jericho, I'm telling you, man, people in professional wrestling coming up just need to watch Chris Jericho and understand, do not stay consistently stale. Continue to reinvent yourself. He is not only reinventing himself, Big Bill, he has a role now. The bounty hunter Keith, I didn't even know who the hell this nigga was, but he even has a character. But all because of the genius of Chris Jericho and knowing how to put over yourself and others in process. Next up, we get Daniel Garcia defeating some jobber named Titus. But what happened most importantly was afterwards when Brian Cage, the Mogul Embassy, and the Mexican guy from the Ninja Turtles I was talking about earlier, Hinch Zero, come down. They beating down Garcia, but then out of nowhere, here comes MJF to make a save. It's not enough, people. So here comes Will Ospreay, and then they get the advantage. They clean house, make it an even ring. But then all of a sudden, Will Ospreay and MJF are in the ring together, and we get the standoff we have all been waiting for. Like I say, AEW does not tell their stories, but they will let you know they are setting up a banger pay-per-view in the future with MJF and Will Ospreay. This shit will be amazing. But first up, he's got to get through Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door for the AEW World Championship. But after that is the main event. How was it the main event? This was Claudio versus Pac. It was a good wrestling match, but once again, absolutely no storytelling. Pac gets the win. It was like a back and forth quirky move, and then he ends up with a cradle right here. Like no finishing move, no shooting star press, nothing exciting. A roll-up pin, main event show. This is the ending? Seriously? Right. I am the Holy Shit Podcast, AEW aficionado. This is what I do. Ron does NXT, and we all do WWE together. And I'm going to be quite honest. I might just be doing pay-per-views from here on out. This show was brutal. The fast forward button was on heavy. I had to rewind shit just because it didn't hit the first time. And I'm like, what? And then once it did hit, it made no sense. I guess it's just going to be AEW, man. If you watch this show, you're going to get mediocre television throughout the weeks. And at the end of the month, you will get one of the best pay-per-views of your life, and that will keep you in, hooked like a little crackhead like I am, never being able to quit them. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to have to give this week's show a solid 6.5. Like I say, I'm just not feeling rock and roll, leather jacket, babyface MJF. I did like Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. I'm loving where they're going. But what WWE is doing right now, the amazing work, storytelling, Uncle Howdy, NXT cooking with a forbidden door. I mean, AEW. If you ain't putting on pay-per-views every week, you might just want to stop this shit. But until next time, Friday Night SmackDown, the whole crew will all be there live directly after SmackDown. It's your boy ABE from DET, and I'm out.